Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the An Stiúideo Sessions podcast, the season 1 finale. I can't believe season 1 is over already. 10 episodes, 10 episodes haven't flown by yet. We're on episode number 10. And speaking of episode number 10, this episode is going to be a little different. A lot of people have asked me for this, and a lot of people have wondered what it would be like. And so I decided that I might as well give it a shot and we'll see how it's going to go. So my guest for this week is actually myself. And my wonderful Mammy, Mary, will be in asking me a few questions and listening to my story, listening to me talk a load of muck for an hour. So yeah, sit back, relax, enjoy, and thank you all so much for watching so far, listening so far, and I'll be talking more about season 2 in the end, but season 2 is going to be great. Anyway, enjoy. How are you, Mammy?
Hello, Owen.
How are you?
I'm fine.
You made the journey out, the long journey out.
I did.
So you're taking over?
Yes.
Oh. Wonderful. Well,
No.
off you go. Whenever you're
No,
ready.
I just feel that, I've watched the other nine podcasts, and you've spoken to singers, you've spoken to songwriters, you've spoken to radio presenters, and there's that link missing, the link of production. And that's your field of expertise. And I thought maybe someone should turn the camera on you sometime. And I did say it at the kitchen table one evening. And I knew the minute I had said that I shouldn't have said it, because straight away you jumped on it and you said, yes, this is, yeah, will you do it so, Mammy? Will you do it so, Mammy? Now, one of the other things about the other 9 interviews, you never have anything written down. And I think sometimes you should have. So, hence on today, I am sitting on a list of questions or hints that's going to, it's 2 pages.
Okay, it's not just because your memory is a bit crap.
And my memory can be a bit crappy too. But just to keep the talking flowing or whatever, even though we never seem to have a problem.
No, we always are very good at talking, really, aren't we?
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
Talking shit.
And getting people to listen can be a problem. But anyway.
What people?
So I'm going to throw the first thing at you.
Okay.
And before I say it, I'm just going to say to you, when you started to talk first,
Oh, jeez.
and I had you out in the buggy one day. We used to do the Marley Road here often and often. And I often wondered, we'd pass a tree or a bush that would have a bird singing or whatever, and you'd point up and you'd say, Birdie Mammy, Birdie Mammy.
Yeah.
And I often thought at the time that, my God, you were always listening to sounds and music and whatever. But what's your first memory?
Of what?
Of of your introduction to music and to whatever.
Oh, this is so weird. Having
Well,
someone
there you
asking
go.
me questions.
Yeah.
My first memory of music. I don't know. 'Cause there was always music. Like, there was always music in our house. Like, the radio was always on. We had the hi-fi in the sitting room.
Yes.
The 3 CD player. That's a pretty cool thing. That's still working, still there. I actually thought of that the other day. I must bring it out and plug it in.
Dismantle it.
Yeah.
See how it works. See, is the little manning still in and...
That was probably my first, because I used to go out there and start playing the CDs. But I know you used to have the radio in the kitchen used to be like a tape player, like a small you played tapes on it, and you had Sean Kane playing and stuff. So there was always music, but I can't really remember a point where I at a very young age, when I said, oh yeah, I'm going to play music. There was nothing really. I don't think it was just always there. So then when the time came when I was 7, then you asked me would I like to do piano lessons, and I said, oh yeah, and that was kind of when it started then, age 7. And then we have the pictures as well of the musical toys that you got that I got one year.
Oh yes, they be
Remember
always.
them?
Yes, Santi always brought a musical toy, didn't he?
Yeah. I got like a guitar one year, and then I had a piano another year, and yeah. But I was young. I was only like I was small at that point. I was 4 or 5. We have pictures of those. Not going to show them to you though.
One of the other things I always remember, the trips to Headford on a Saturday, and we sang all the way back, and we sang all the way home.
Badly.
So you knew all the words of James Blunt songs.
James Blunt, yeah.
What else used to be played at the time?
James Blunt. What else was there?
Porrick Stevens. We used to play Porrick. With Rashers and Sausages all the way to Headford.
Yeah. What was the name of that album? The Porrick Stevens one. You can't remember.
Can't remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we used to have that.
That's why I needed the book. I should have written that down.
We used to have that in the car, but I think that CD since got scratched. Sorry, Porrick. You can just come out and re-record
and we used to, the Saw Doctors as well.
Oh yeah, we had all the
Saw
Doctor stuff. Yeah, we had loads of stuff. It was all you always had CDs.
Yeah.
There still is a load of CDs in the house.
Yeah, and
somewhere. And vinyl.
Neil Diamond was another.
I never liked
you
him.
never liked him. Yeah.
No offense to Neil Diamond.
He'll hardly hear this.
Well, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
So, right, off you go to national school.
Yeah.
You went to where you went to Gardenfield.
Yeah, I did. What about, yeah, well, okay, so, yeah, I went to Gardenfield. I finished Gardenfield.
And did you do the summer or the Christmas plays?
Yeah, so I did, but I was never into acting or anything like that. Like I always got the crappy roles because I could never sing or dance. Even today, I can't sing like really. So I was always just like the background person.
You were Joseph one time in the play, weren't you?
Once I got one lead role ever. That was it. That was. I think it was because I didn't have to sing. Did I sing for that? No, I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, that was primary school. Primary school was like most Irish primary schools up until kind of lately. I think that they were very sports centered. There wasn't music has only come into primary schools recently. I think when I was in 5th class, how many years ago was that? 2nd year, 1st year, leaving cert 5th year, TY.
You're not
3rd
good
year,
at the
2nd
sums
year,
now,
1st year,
I wouldn't have.
6th class. 10 years ago. Is it 10 years ago?
Oh, it has
I'm
to be
20.
more than,
I'm 20, so I would have been.
So it's 15 years ago.
15,
Between the two of us, we'll get
ago.
it around.
I did ordinary level maths. I said it to everybody. 15 years ago. So yeah, I remember we kind of got big into learning music in like 4th or 5th class in primary school. Before that, I don't think we did. We did like the, like junior infants when you put on the CD and stuff. We did that, but we didn't really. I don't think there wasn't a huge emphasis on music. Not as much as there is now. But yeah, that was primary school. Primary school was great crack.
Yes.
I'd love to go back to primary school and know what I know now.
Okay. I think, teachers instill in you different things, and you remember a lot of things that happened in, you kind of develop in national school. You learn.
Yeah.
You remember a lot of what people say to you,
Yeah.
because you do get great encouragement and.
Yeah, primary school is cool.
Yeah.
Especially I'm not going to get into it in this. Maybe in the other podcast I'll get into it. The whole
so
education
off you go
system.
into St. Charles College in 2012.
Yeah.
And you had put your head down in the books and you said, I'm not going to do anything now, only study hard. And then along came the bane of my life, Connie Burke.
Shout out to Connie.
I'm just joking, Connie.
Yeah, Jarlath's was where I think TY. I'll get on to TY in a bit, but I think TY was kind of the main year where I really kind of discovered what I wanted to do properly and stuff. But Jarlath's was great because I was fairly mature growing up. Like in 6th class, I was a pretty mature young lad, was I not?
Mature or immature?
Mature, like.
Yeah, you were. Yeah,
I was never a messer, like.
No, you had a good head in your shoulders.
Yeah. So when I got into secondary school, it was like the whole world had just opened up, like, even though really it hadn't. But you were kind of felt you were a bit older and you could do a bit. do a bit more to progress yourself. I suppose that's the way you want to say it. So first year was same as it was for most people. It was scary, like daunting and whatever, and that was grand. You got over first year. Second year then was a break year. Really, there wasn't much work done in second year. Even though it was the year before the junior cert. And then the junior cert came along, and that was fine. But not like I think I missed about 80%. No, maybe not 80%. Maybe about 60% of school class time for like choir and operas and all that stuff. And I don't regret it at all, because it was class. It was great. That's like I met all my friends through music, really. Even the lads that like skipped off class just to go in the choir to skip class, the likes of Peter and Keane. And well, Keane could sing, but Peter and all them boys, they I met all them through choir, I suppose, and stuff. But yeah, that was second year, first year, and then third year was exams. So we didn't really do much that year. But the opera then was a big, huge thing. So then what I did was the opera's been going on for Jarlath's for years, the musical, and I talked to a few of the lads that were on. They knew about it, but I did the show in second year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it first year?
You were on stage that time. I think you did second year. You were on stage.
Yeah.
That was the only show you did that you were on stage.
It was Oliver. I was on stage for Oliver, and that was it. And after Oliver,
for all the other shows, if you don't mind me interrupting you, we'd be watching the stage for the second year. You know, we're watching you on stage, and for all the other shows, we're looking back the way because you were behind us doing sound.
Yeah, doing lights,
lights or whatever.
Yeah. So I did one show, and and that was Oliver. And I remember myself and Cormac Dignam, we had our big scene where we were in a bar. Or was it Oliver? I can't remember. I think it was Oliver. And we were in a bar, and Keelan Graney was the barman, and me and Cormac were sitting at the table, and we had we were pretending to be drinking or whatever. But that was that. And then after that, then I realized that singing and lepping around the stage wasn't really for me, so I moved into the tech end. So Mr. John Duggan asked me if I'd like to do lighting and stuff, because I was kind of, again, I wasn't singing in the choir and stuff, you know. That was kind of first year, second year, and then after that I kind of moved out of that and I started doing sound in there. And again, it was John Duggan that started that as well, actually. He was like, oh, would you like to try and do this? So I was kind of doing sound in second year, third year, and then after that I kind of was doing lights as well for the shows. And that was kind of when the whole recording side of it came into. So okay, we're going back a bit now, but like I always was interested in computers. Yeah,
big time. Yeah. As a small child, like you, at 7 years of age.
Yeah.
You were always on the laptop. Anytime I left down the laptop, you were gone. You know. And I thought at that stage that that's the field you'd go into. Even at national school, they always said that because it was just one of the things, you were good with computers or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you were no good fixing things or that. But yeah.
Yeah, I was the dude in primary school that they called. I was like a tech supported guy in primary school.
Yeah.
But so I was always involved in computers, and then when I came to 7 years old and I started playing piano, I kind of got more interested in music that way. And then I was like, okay, but I love playing music and I love doing computers, so there has to be some sort of way that I can do the two of them together at the same time.
Yeah.
So I remember for my confirmation, actually, I got my MacBook. And that was when the whole recording thing started. Then once I got that, I had a mixer that I got, that you got.
Yeah.
Most of all this stuff has been funded by Mammy and Daddy.
Well, you can tell the story of where that was the mixer that we bought in Galway that day, was it? Yeah, just tell the story of where that was.
That was also I got my first PA system. We're kind of jumping back and forth, but I'll bring it all together in the end. The first PA system I got that in, I think I was just gone into first year. I think wasn't I was 17. I remember I got it when I was 17, or was it earlier than that? Might have been earlier than that, I'd say. Yeah, it would have been earlier. It would have been 15 or 16 maybe. So was it Dad just found it on Dundee or something?
Yeah. We used to be looking on Dundee. Because there was no way we were buying him a top of the range thing, because he could decide in a few weeks' time, oh heck, I don't need that. I'm not going to do that. So, stroke of genius, one night just saw something. and rang this guy in Galway. He was
His
going
name
back
was
to
Tim. Tim.
he was going back to
something.
New Zealand anyway. He was
going back
returning.
no, he was American.
Was he?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was American. He was Tim was an American. He was a member of the army. I don't know. Was he? He was. What do you call that when they're like
Cadet or
on
something.
call? No, but they're on call. Like they're not. He was like waiting to be called basically. Like,
Okay. I
and
didn't
so
know
he
that.
moved. He was a musician, and he had moved to Ireland, and he had this rig for gigging and stuff. But he had to move back, and so he had to sell the rig. And Muggins here ended up buying the rig.
But I rang him one night about it, and it was kind of pricey at the time,
It
and
was €750.
I think it was more than that.
No,
though, wasn't
700.
it?
700.
But anyway, I don't know. But anyway, we rang him and I talked to him. And when he heard that, your man was so into it, he said, right, come up tomorrow and see it anyway. So we loaded into the car and off we go the following day. And it was all in its original boxes. Do you remember?
Yeah, he had all the boxes. Yeah.
Perfect. And, he was just glad to be selling it on to someone that would appreciate it. And in all fairness, it has stood the test of time.
I still have
hasn't
it.
Yeah,
Still have
it's
it.
still going
It was
fine.
a 12-channel Behringer Xenix 1224 or something was the desk. And I still have it. It's actually, I don't have it here at the minute, but I still have it. And two of the speakers that I normally use, if you ever see my speakers being used, it was two of those. And I've had it ever since. I think one speaker failed on me because I got damp at a gig, but
Yeah.
I still have it. It's class. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
But so that mixer then got set up in my bedroom, and I had a little computer monitor, and I connected the computer monitor into my laptop, and I had the desk in the center and the computer monitor in front of it, so it looked really proper, like looked professional, like. And I just started learning GarageBand on the Mac. It was free on the Mac, and started learning that, and a lot of the audio stuff that I have learnt has been a lot of it is self-taught, but a lot of it as well I learnt from a wonderful guy, Fintan Higgins. Fintan is a legend. He's known all over the place. He does shows in Galway, he does shows everywhere. A gent, really.
And he took you on as a youngster, and he really did develop you.
Yeah,
do
I think
know
I
what
was
mean?
14, I think,
No,
when I started doing shows. We started doing music. Fintan gave me my foray into musical theatre and the whole world, that side of things, that I never really looked into. It wasn't really my thing, like, so I didn't pay much attention to it, apart from doing the bits in school. But started just going off on gigs with Fintan, just as a roadie, like, really at the start, just lugging gear in and out, and then eventually that turned into mixing a few shows and putting microphones on actors and stuff. But I got some amount of experience there.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
It's a different, like, it's different to what I work with. I work with bands and I work with artists and musicians and stuff, and it's a different thing that I don't think is for me, but I learned a lot from it all the same.
Yeah.
So two people there that really kickstarted the whole career. Tim, can't remember his surname, and Fintan, and Mammy, of course, and Daddy.
Oh, stop. I don't know. So, Owen, we're going back to Jarlath's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
TY.
So then in TY, you got the TY Student of the Year, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you get something like that?
Yeah, I got outstanding contribution. Did I get student? I did get Student of the Year as well.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound vain, in case you're wondering.
Well, no, we do need to say that when Mr. Duggan passed it on to you, he let it fall and broke it.
I forgot about it. I
never forgot that.
I received the awards in two parts.
Oh, please. Yeah.
Yeah, we still
Yeah.
love you, John Duggan.
Yeah. And during
Go on.
that time, you did a CD for charity at Christmas. Do you remember that down in Kinney Raves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So TY was a huge year, really, for me. Because, again, it was like the transition from secondary school into or from primary school into secondary school, it was like, oh my god, I have this big, huge thing open to me now. I can do whatever I want. So TY was brilliant because there was nothing really like that. We didn't have to do anything. Obviously, there was schoolwork and stuff, but it wasn't that important. No, so TY was good because that's what TY is for. TY is like college life, but in a year in secondary school where you get to like develop, what you're into. And so TY was huge because it meant that I could, any of these ideas that I had built up and stuff, I could actually kind of start bringing them to fruition. Like, and that's where An Stiúideo came from. That's when it was at the end of TY when I named it An Stiúideo. Before that, it was Buzz Studios, but there was no branding or anything for that. It was just my bedroom studio, and we've recorded a few people as well there. Jamie did his first ever recording there years ago, and Cueva Glynn also did a recording there. I think Owen Mullins might have done one as well. I can't remember, but yeah, that was.
And I was downstairs in the kitchen listening to all that.
Listening, yeah. But so that's where An Stiúideo came from, and yeah, we did the CD with Kenny Rafe. That was a huge TY project that we did. TY in Jarlath's is very good, and if there's anybody from third year in Jarlath's wondering if they should do TY, I'd definitely say do it because we found it excellent because nearly everybody in our TY group was musical in some way, so that's why they decided to record the CD. So we decided to record a Christmas CD for charity. So we did 4 songs, I think. It was like an EP. We did Imagine. We did a cover. These were all covers. We did Imagine, Run Run Rudolph.
Won't be able to think of them all.
Imagine, Run Run Rudolph. Merry Christmas Everyone by Shakin' Stevens. And what was the other one?
Who's the fourth singer? Think of the singers. That's how you know.
What was the other one?
A girl sang one, didn't they? Oh, she did.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But so that was my first time ever going into a real like studio setting, and it was class. It was so cool. It was all of our first times ever going into a proper studio set. I think Alan Kelly was the only one who had been in Mixer Connolly's studio before.
Yeah.
But it was class, and Kenny was a legend. We got to meet Kenny, and I was really involved in the production of that CD. But it was class. It was a great experience for all of us. We played all the music, and we did all that, and it was great crack. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you were buzzing coming out of that time. You thought it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was great.
It was cool.
Yeah. And then another thing you did during that time, you went to the Gaeltacht one time.
The Gaeltacht.
Yeah, and there was a lot of music there as well, wasn't there? There was more music, I'd say, than
I don't remember much of the Gaeltacht, to be honest. I went. It was very musical, but it was it was very musical, I suppose. I met a lot of friends there. I still talk to them the odd time, but I don't remember much about it because it's become so relevant now. But I remember at the time I did love it. It was class. There was lots of music going on there as well. I have actually a guitar I brought up there. I got off Santi one year, and I brought that guitar with me, and I actually got it signed by everybody that was in the course or in the house with me. So that was cool. Yeah, but there was a lot of music there. I learned how to play the uilleann pipes there from a guy called Oisín. I learned some guitar there, but yeah, that was it.
And a bit of Irish.
And actually, there's a guy. I think he was on my course. He was either at this or he was at something completely different. He might have been at that thing in Cork that I went to. But I think it was the Gaeltacht. His name was Pádraig O'Mara, and Pádraig is actually he's become big now. And I think he has an album released. So if you go and look up Pádraig O'Mara music on Facebook, you'll find him. He's gotten huge. He's really yeah, and he's a lovely lad. So there you go.
So I'm so glad I wrote these down. I'd say you're so mad I wrote these down.
No, well,
otherwise we'd be sitting here in silence. We genuinely would.
I didn't think that you.
So I didn't tell you I was doing this because otherwise, you'd. Anyway.
Well, I kind of Go on.
But anyway. Then I'm going to bring something up that you probably wouldn't want me to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. In 2014, we went to Lourdes as a family with the Diocese of Tuam. And the reason we went that time was that we were celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary.
Not our 25th wedding anniversary.
No.
Mum and Dad's 25th wedding anniversary.
I wouldn't marry you for love nor money. And you have neither. You have no money. So so anyway, when we were in, when I booked it through Sheila Davin and she heard that Owen was playing music now, she said, will you make sure that he brings a guitar? So first thing we had to do was go out and buy this hard case for this precious guitar.
We got a new guitar.
It was more important than the hard case anyway. I always think of that.
Yeah.
It was more important that we got that than the passport. That was so important. Mind that anyway, whatever about the passport. Yeah. And you were to be involved with the music with, what was his name?
Tommy McGovern.
Tommy McGovern.
Yeah.
And oh my God, like those nights in Lourdes, like there's great atmosphere and there's great crack and whatever. And it's all Irish people. Like it's the group you go with, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And you were playing music every night. It was then that I kind of saw, you know what, this lad is. He's worth spending the money on the piano lessons many moons ago.
Yeah.
But and then they asked you one day. Then there was a mass, a particular mass in a small church out there, and Tommy McGovern said to me, "Make sure now you're up at the front for that mass. Now make sure you're up at the front." But and we weren't. We were down at the back, the usual. But lo and behold, you did it. I'd never heard you sing before. That was the first time I heard you sing.
First and last.
And what did you sing? What was it again?
It was
what was it? Isn't it shocking? I can't remember.
What's the name of it?
But anyway, oh my God, it was just so moving, and it was just lovely.
It wasn't moving.
And no, it was. It was lovely. It was the. You know what Nanny Hetford...
The Nazarene.
The Nazarene,
what it was
yeah. Nanny Hetford. Go on, sing a few lines out there now. But, so anyway, that was one of the things that was big for...
Yeah, Lourdes was...
but you enjoyed that. You enjoyed that.
Yeah. It was cool.
The fun was great.
It was great crack, yeah. When we were going, I remember we were all like, "Oh my God, this is awful!" Like, and how are we going to tell our friends about this or whatever? Like, do you know? Yeah. And I mean, we're not a real Holy Joe family, but we're religious, like, but we're not.
Yeah.
I think actually, kind of unrelated, but I think we all kind of have evolved into our own kind of. We all have our different kind of beliefs in it's. Some of us believe more than others in the family. Yeah. You can see it, like. But anyway, that's irrelevant. Lourdes was really cool. The most thing that got me about Lourdes was the overwhelming calm of the whole place. Like when you were walking around, it was just pure calm. And then you got to the mass end of the evening or whatever. There was mass every evening. You got to the mass in the evening, and there was music and singing and all that, and it was class. It was really cool. It was lovely. The music was brilliant. And then you'd have the crack then in the hotel afterwards, and that was great crack every night. There was plenty of singing and dancing like that. I came home from Lourdes with a songbook about that thick, I think, of music from Tommy. And actually, Emer messaged me when I put up the post about you coming on. Emer messaged me and she's saying, "Oh, she can't wait to see that now" or whatever. So, shout out to Tommy and Emer. But Lourdes was cool. Yeah.
And then stemming on from that, you did a few, how we have children's masses in Tuam every month, and there was a couple of times that there was no choir available, and you did the choir for that, and in the church yourself and Julie McHugh. Julie McHugh is fantastic. Yeah. And that was nice. It's nice to give back as well and whatever.
Absolutely.
And stemming on from that, then you went to Cork. You did the week in Cork.
Yeah,
do you remember?
I went to Knockadoon in Cork. That was really cool. That Knockadoon is it's run by the Christian Brothers. Wasn't it?
I didn't know.
No, it's not. It's run by the Franciscans. Sorry.
Okay.
Franciscan Brothers. And that was really cool. Again, it was a music and liturgy camp. So it was like Lourdes, but in Ireland and without the mass all the time. It was more based around music. The way you could look at it was like, if you've ever seen, we'll say, if you've ever seen the way born again Christians maybe, or the religious societies over in America would practice, or the way they go to church and stuff, and the way that's all done with bands and live music and stuff. The way they worship is what it's called. But it was a lot like that. It was all singing and stuff. It was really cool. I loved that. I met some really cool people there.
Yes,
as well,
and Dahi Quinn went with you.
Yeah,
Dahi is still singing in tune.
Yeah,
he's singing in the cathedral.
He's been singing for years.
So Owen, going back then to what can I say? The first time you started playing, you were busking in tune a couple of times. You were busking outside Bourne with Owen Mullins at one stage. And what was that for? Can you remember?
It was a competition.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
As part of the Arts Fest. It was part of the tune busking competition or something like that. Myself and Owen Mullins, two babies standing outside of Glitzy Bits busking.
But you did well that day.
We did actually do very well. Yeah, I can't remember. I think Owen said it in the other podcast how much we actually made. But it was good crack. Well, I didn't sing too much. I was playing the guitar. Then other times, I've been busking has been with the MS Society.
Yeah, you did
for the carol service.
That's the next thing. That's the next thing I was going to say.
Yeah,
you did. We did. I'd say about. Did we do 5 different Christmases, one after another
in a row? Yeah,
outside.
We did
Medwell Pharmacy,
and
outside. What was your man's name? The
Pedro's.
Yeah.
In the middle of the two of them.
Yeah, and Christmas time.
That was great. I used to always like that.
Yeah.
Myself and Julie, not great stick on.
We did it for June Camogie once, I think, and all the other times for.
My chair just broke.
For Chum MS. That's an antique chair, so mind it, please, and thank you.
Oops.
Yeah, so I remember that. I remember one of the times actually that you were singing, or that I remember Pádraig Stevens came up to me and he said,
legend.
In his best accent, you know what he said? He has it in spades, he said, and he has the appearance to go with it, he said. So Pádraig, when he makes his first million, I'll remind you of that.
Yeah. Pádraig is a legend. I'm hoping to get Pádraig on for the next season. Hopefully he'll be out here. Look forward to that. But legend. Yeah. The carol services were great, or the carol singing were great crack. And the carol services, actually, back to Jarlath's, the carol services were unbelievable. If you've ever gone to one of those carol services, they were excellent, and they still are excellent. Something really special, I suppose, hearing an all male choir.
Oh,
is
fantastic,
really cool,
fantastic.
I ended up doing the sound for that. I'm not singing at all. Yeah. Anyway, what else have you got for me?
I'm trying to see. I can't read my own writing.
Will we take a break and you can read over it?
I mightn't come back if you take a break.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back after the break.
Okay.
You're listening to the On Studio Sessions podcast, recorded live here in On Studio HQ. Each week we'll be talking to different artists, songwriters, DJs, producers, and engineers. Don't forget to follow us on all social media at On Studio Music, and you can also watch the podcast on YouTube. But for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of this episode. And we're back. Part 2 of Mammy Knows Best. The episode 10, the season finale of season 1. Hope you're enjoying it so far. I'm not.
He's given out to me. He's telling me I need to go off script because I'm working out of a sheet. Because if I don't, we might just stop talking, and darling, then there's nobody going to pay their TV license for us sitting here like two stooges looking across at one another.
We don't need a TV license.
And looking out at the cat.
TV license to watch the podcast.
Looking out at the cat outside the window.
Well, anyway, did you have a nice break?
Right, tell me what concerts you've been to now that you enjoyed or whatever.
Concerts I've been to. How many concerts? The best concert I've ever actually been to, I think, was Hosier in Castlebar.
Okay.
Myself and Amanda went to that. That was unbelievable. Again, it was at that concert I was like, yeah, this is like when I saw the production for all that, I was just like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And I said that as well in the podcast with Amanda, that it was just like, that was the wow minute, the wow factor. And then after that was probably the concert that Jamie did in the Mall. That's probably my second favourite. And then I went to see James Blunt in the 3 Arena. That was cool as well. But yeah, they're probably my top. They're like the only 3 concerts I've ever been. I went to Ed Sheeran in Galway. That's probably second on the list. So I'd have Hozier, Ed Sheeran, and then
Did you not come to
James
take
Blunt.
that?
No.
You didn't come
No.
to take that?
No.
Okay.
No. Oh my God, there's horses outside. Someone just went past on a horse. Yeah, so they're probably my top 3, I'd say. Yeah.
It's funny, when I go to a concert now, I'm looking around at the sound system, and I'm looking at the speakers and looking at how they're built and whatever, more so than looking at whoever's on stage.
What have I done? It's funny, even Neve is like that now. Neve says that when she goes to, like, if she's ever, when she was at Ed Sheeran, she was the same way, like. But
that poor girl. She needs a medal.
Yeah. Anyway, what else have you got for me?
I'm very little more now. Oh, Master of the Mic and Fuse. Oh
yeah,
Master of the Mic. Fantastic.
Master of the Mic was organised by Alan Bradburn and Julie McHugh.
Yes.
And Alan Bradburn and the Curly. And sorry, I keep fiddling with this because my headphones keep going on and off. But yeah, that was great crack. That was brilliant. That went on for 8 weeks. And again, that was An Stiúidio's first outing, I suppose, with all the gear and stuff. It was more just, I knew Alan from before, and Alan got on to me and said, would you do this for us? And I said, geez, yeah, sure, I'd give it a go, like, you know. So of course I couldn't have done it by myself, so I got talking to a few people, and that's when the almighty Michael Duffy came along. And Michael has been
that bloody Master of the Mic. Was that what brought Duffy into our lives? Bloody hell.
Michael Duffy has been with me here in An Stiúideo ever since. And it was great because when we did that time, it was
Michael.
It was really it was nerve-wracking for us because it was like, oh my God, this is going to be in front of people. It's going to be in front of the public, and we have to, you know, try and do all this, get it as professional looking as we can. But they were really impressed in there, and it was, production-wise, it was class for our first ever thing. It was very good. Our first ever big thing. It was excellent. But Master of the Mic was a singing competition that was open to all of Galway, actually. And there was loads of artists that came in and did that. But the prize was to, I think you won €1,000 out of it, wasn't it?
Maybe not. I wouldn't mention the prize.
No,
really.
But the big thing was they won €1,000. Well, one of there was 2 things. But
we won't mention the second one.
No, we'll mention that in episode 1 of the new podcast, which will be coming next week. But yeah, they won like €1,000 out of it. So Jamie McIntyre actually won that. And we were talking about that when he was on. Excuse me. But yeah, it was great. It was great. It was a great podcast. It was a great event. It was class. Went on for 8 weeks, and it was good. Julie was excellent, and Alan, they were both excellent. All the whole staff in the Curly were like best friends now since that. Like, that's when I got to know them all. So yeah, Julie put an awful lot of work into that, and Alan put a good bit of work in as well. So it was great.
Yeah.
Great team effort by everybody.
Yes. The things I remember from it was the youngsters that went up and sang. Yeah. Like, was there a little girl called Chloe Nicholson?
Yeah,
was
Chloe,
she a little one in?
Yeah, well, like, she's not little anymore. But
oh, I'll never forget her. She was just fantastic.
Yeah.
And I don't like singling out anyone, but just that she was so small, and she used to, there was a step going up, and she used to leap up onto the step, like, you know, fantastic little one.
Probably going to get Chloe on as well, isn't it?
And it was great experience for all of those, and they were super talented.
Oh yeah,
like Alana Mullins. Oh my God, you know, I thought she did cover versions better than original
singers,
artists did. I really did think that.
It was very good. Rona Lardner was presenting that. I think Slats did a night for us as well. And then Brenda Murray was judging, Patricia King was judging, and Declan, what's his name? Declan Carroll was judging.
I can remember the old ones. You can.
Again, lovely people, and it was great crack. They made it very enjoyable. It was a very intimate event, even though there was more than 100 people, I think, there every week. Like, but it was very intimate. It was really
it was,
good. It was
but
lovely,
it was really, really lovely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And again,
And then Fuse.
Fuse. So Fuse now didn't come right after Matt. Fuse came a long time after. Fuse is only kind of when I got into Leaving Cert, I think. Was it Leaving Cert when
I'd
Fuse
say
started?
it was first year in college.
First year in college, yeah. So last year, really. The end. Do you know what it was? It was summertime, actually, before I went into college.
Yeah.
And then first year and second year. Fuse has been great. It's been class. Fuse is a big, huge thing. Completely organised by Julie McHugh. Again, Julie's marvellous. Julie's a good friend of ours. The McHughes have been for a long time. But Julie organised that whole thing. She organises it every single month. And basically it's a showcase of talent. Showcase of musicians and singers, songwriters and poets and all that stuff. And it's upstairs in Canavans. And we got involved. Julie, anytime Julie organises something, I always seem to get dragged into it.
Anytime Owen organises anything, Julie gets dragged into it.
So Julie is a big part of the team here as well. So it's kind of myself, Michael, and Julie, and then there's some newbies coming joining as well. But you'll get to see them in the next season. But yeah, so Fuse is great. Again, Fuse is great for us in a production sense because it means that we're always learning from, because it's every month. You know, you can go in and you can try out new stuff, and if it doesn't work, you won't do it.
Yes, yeah.
So it was great. Good excuse to buy new gear as well and try out new stuff as well, which is great. But yeah.
Hence the 34 cents in the bank account. But anyway, what's the other?
Have to say, actually, that I know you might
don't start putting up the finger at me now.
No, I wouldn't have been able to do the big productions if it wasn't for Mixer, who sold me his PreSonus mixing system, the digital mixing console that I've been using for years. I bought it off Mixer Connolly, but that was all bought from, I think, savings?
Yeah, of which he had none.
So
basically you sneaked it into the house, and it was there for 2 years before Mixer got paid for it, wasn't it? Before I knew it wasn't paid for, before I knew that it was being sold.
But
anyway,
yeah, no, Mixer. Yeah. Mixer runs Stable Productions out the Galway Road. So shout out to Mixer. I love the PreSonus. I've had it for ages and I use it all the time. It's the heart of everything, and it's brilliant. So yeah, Fuse has been great as well. We'll say for Michael, who's like, okay. It's been great for him to learn new stuff, learn the production side, learn the live side of it and stuff. So it's great because everybody is learning together, and I'm learning off Julie, and Julie's learning off us, and it's great. It's a great platform for anybody that gets involved. So I definitely encourage you, when it gets back up and running, hopefully around Christmas time, we'll be able to.
I must say it's a fantastic evening. It's a great evening out. It's really is lovely, and. But the only downside was the venue for me was a nightmare because I have a disability, and I just, I would love to see it taken off again, but sadly, and I hate to say that, because I know the guys in Canavans have been good to you, fantastic.
Brian is great.
But just to be aware of that, to make it more accessible again,
That's true.
Yeah, but
you wouldn't know what the way things are going now, though. We can start live streaming it and stuff,
Or they might put in a lift.
Maybe.
Yeah, to get big elephants up the stairs.
We get on to Brian. To install a lift for Mary Melia.
And the Thatch. So you're now in the Thatch.
Well, before the Thatch, I was in the Bridge.
Yes, that is true.
I was in the Bridge for like a year. Thanks to Dave Cohn. Again, I got into DJing in Leaving Cert TY. I was kind of doing 18s and stuff for the friends, just for the crack. Again, there was no there was nothing major going on. It was just I'd show up with the decks and speakers and play a bit of music, that was it. And then Dave Cohn got on to me, friend of Mammy's, friend of Dad's. I think you used to know him through football, wasn't it, and stuff?
Yeah, cartoon football.
Yeah. And Dave said, "Oh, I heard you doing a bit of DJing or whatever." And I said, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "Will you come into us some nights?" Sure, I do. I said, "Grand." So I went in, did a bit of DJing, and I did a few nights in there. I think it was only nights when Slopey was off or when such one was up. But it was great crack because it was experience, and that was grand. And then, I don't know if I should be saying this, how Dave lost me, but Alan was in there. Alan Kelly from the Thatch was in there. Shout out to Alan Kelly. He was in he was back from America, and he was in the Thatch one night, and I was DJing, and there was people coming up to me complimenting the music, and he was kind of watching this going on, and then at the end of the night, he was like, "Who are you?" he was like, "Who are? How do you know all that music and stuff and all that, or whatever?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm thinking about opening up the Thatch or whatever, and if you want to come in someday for a chat, and we can talk about the music in there, different things like that." And because I think he just kind of wanted a young person that was from around the town that knew what the scene was going to be like, So I didn't really think much of it at the start. I was kind of like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll go in and have a chat with him." But 2 years later, 3 years later, 2 years later, nearly 3 years. 2 years. It'll be 2 years this summer. I'm still in there DJing every weekend. Again, for the love of it, for the music, for the crack. It's nice to be able to go in there every Saturday and just play a bit of music, not have anything major going on there. It's great.
And one of the things you have to remember when you are DJing, you have to play to your audience, and you have to, play what the people want. And it was one of the things I heard back one time. There was a birthday party or something. I don't know. You did a party anyway for someone. I don't know where. I don't even know where it was. But the young O'Donnell guys, their granny, Freddie, lovely lady, she was there and she kept requesting the same song all night.
Yeah.
And you had to you played it a good few times for
her. Just on a loop, yeah.
The same song. And, it's amazing how that gets back to you. Like somebody even brought it back to me, you were a young lad. He was so nice. He played it all night.
Yeah, the DJing had brought out some great stuff. Like I mentioned it before as well, the camping thing.
Oh, in Cartoon,
in Cartoon, in the local pitch here. That's great. That was brilliant crack. That's great crack. It's pity it's not happening this year, but it was brilliant. It was a 24-hour camping thing with music. It was great.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to branch off and do different things, but it's I'd say this is my kind of home is in the studio and in the production side of it and stuff.
Oh, that's my coffee finished.
Fair enough.
So right.
So
how
right.
has COVID affected you?
Oh, it's okay. So I don't like talking about it really because it's just negative energy. But it's like it's been very good for this whole thing in the sense that it's given me the opportunity to start a lot of ideas that I've been stuck up here for a long time, and I can actually start doing them. Like the likes of this podcast wouldn't have been able to start with college and stuff. It would have just been too hard to pull it off during a weekend. So, it's been a good opportunity to kind of just start little things like that. How it's affected me, it stopped people from coming here. It's only now really that people who live fairly close are calling around again,
I love the way you didn't say it stopped you going to college,
Well, it was only stopped a month, we had one exam and that was it. But how else has it affected me? I mean, I wouldn't be doing. I'm out here all the time, really. So I suppose it's a good thing and a bad thing. I find, and I said this to a few of the people on the other episodes, that because when you're a creative person, like I'm a creative person, you find that you find that you have to be doing something all the time, and then when you're not, when there's a day that you can't think of something to do, even if there's a day when you don't post on social media or something, or you just don't have the energy to do it, you're just really down, really, really down, So I think there's a sense where anybody who's creative needs to be creating all the time now because they have all this time to do it, and now is the opportune time to be doing this or be posting covers and all. It is good, but at the same time, don't be pressuring yourself to post up stuff,
Yeah. No, you could always come in and tidy your room or, sort out a wardrobe. Don't ever feel like that. Just come to Mammy when you feel like that.
Yeah.
And just tell Mammy, and Mammy will get you something to do.
I'd say that, all right. Yeah.
Mm.
But in terms of, that's really it. It hasn't really affected me too much. It's been beneficial, if nothing else. There's a new podcast starting. It's called the B Team Subs. That's starting next week. We're going to have a whole new set for that and everything. It's very exciting. The way it's impacted this podcast has been huge because this is the whole reason why I have to do a new season, is because originally the plan was to have everybody here in the studio, performing or whatever and talking like we are.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do that because COVID came along, so I had to do it all over FaceTime, which was very disappointing. But at the same time, it's got a huge reaction by lots of people. It's been recognised a lot, and people are enjoying it a lot, and it got radio attention, and it got loads of stuff like that. So it's been great. But the next season is going to be incredible. It's going to be class. I can't wait. Sean McElroy is coming in to give us a hand with the video for that and everything. He's super talented.
Yeah.
So it's going to be brilliant. Really looking forward to that. So it's I'm not going to reveal yet who it is. Oh, actually, I will have revealed it by the time you see this. But yeah. But yeah, that's how that's affected me, really. Yeah, that was the major thing.
I'll say one thing about you and your music and whatever. You have made lovely friends from it.
Yeah.
There's the loveliest young fellas calling around here, and you know, when you're in the Thatch or when you're in wherever, there's just, you have fantastic friends.
Yeah, every single one of them.
Made from it.
Yeah.
It's just lovely. And as well as that, the great support you get. Like, you genuinely do get support.
Yeah.
You know, the lads and the guy in the Mal, I'm so bad with names, John Mulrooney. Like, he's so good to you every time you're in there.
Yeah, he is.
You mentioned the Corley. All those, they're, you know.
There's, sorry, for cutting across, but there actually is so many people like that have that are involved in all of involved in this, like, and it's that have been there along the way, that have kind of. What's really funny is there's been a lot of people that have kind of that I've lost contact with. Would say the likes of Peter Devan. Yeah, Peter was one of my best friends in secondary school, and then I lost contact with Peter completely when I went to college, and so it's been nearly 2 years now, 2.5 years, and he arrived in the back door yesterday to me, like, you know. So it's funny how you lose contact
when he
like
was
that.
Meant to be social distancing, and you could smell the bag of chips and the Supermax from the back kitchen.
But no, we social distanced in here though. We were opposite sides of the room, but
and
so
you know, if you don't mind me giving a bit of a plug to Galway Bay FM.
Oh yeah,
because
they probably hate you.
Anytime Jamie McIntyre has something going on, or anytime anyone has anything on, I'm always sending in those pretense requests. Would you give a plug there, lads? And
they're probably sick of you.
Ollie and Molly in the morning, they're fantastic.
Ronan,
you know,
as well.
and Ronan Lerner is just out of this world.
Yeah,
and you know. Mark Roberts, and when Fuse is on, I start on a Friday morning, and I sent it into every presenter all along, saying, you know, wish good luck to blah 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 blah. And like, you know, at this stage they should be just deleting those when they're getting them, but they don't. They play every one of
they're
them.
great,
and they are
really
fantastic. You know, and you always have to think of that. You know.
And
like shops as well that
put up posters
and sell tickets, and you know.
Yeah, there's loads. The Quins are great.
Quinn lads, yeah.
There's so many.
I hope if someone going to look at this and say, all I ever did for that frigger, and he never mentioned it.
Does anyone
look at this? Does anyone look at this?
Does anyone look at it?
Does anyone look at this? Can you cut out that bit?
Yeah, no. There's so many people that are involved in this, and like An Stiúideo is at the minute. It's almost like a charity in the sense that we don't make any money. Like there's no. We don't charge anything for anybody for anything, because it's all just done for. It's all just passion driven. Like, you know, Julie McHugh is so driven for stage design and lighting, and because we've been friends for so long, she's more than willing to do things like that. And Michael is great because he's coming and he's learning all the time, but he's great crack, you know. You see it on the live streams. We have great crack. So like, it's great to be. I always say surround yourself with positive people, and then when you can surround yourself with positive people that have the same interests and the same attitude towards things as you, that it just makes things so much better. Like, you know, even we'll say Alan in the hotel, like, is great crack, but he can be very serious at the same time. And I found that when we were doing Master at the Mic, it was great to have the crack, but also have someone to go, okay, this needs to be done at this time, right, and you know, so it's good to have things like that. So I'd say to anybody who's looking at the production side of it, it's great to have the crack and all that, but like at the same time, first of all, the job that you do is very thankless. Sometimes it goes unnoticed, and it does go very unnoticed, and so it's good to be able to be positive all the time and be aware that it's not always going to be fun and games. You're going to have to get work done. But at the same time, people need to be aware that an awful lot of work goes into things like that, goes into shows, and it goes into, and so just to be aware of that and to acknowledge that as well is a huge thing, you know. And how will I round that out now? Yeah, so the way I'm going to round it out is it's great to have people that are all so engaged and involved, and a group of people that appreciate the amount of work that goes into it and the amount of work that's required for it and stuff like that. So if I didn't mention anybody, I'm sorry, but you know who you are. You've all been involved in loads of different things in the past, and of course I couldn't have done it without Mammy and Daddy. Mammy and Daddy have been huge. None of this would be here without Mammy and Daddy. They drove everything.
This is a piece of Daddy's shed. But as I'm looking around it now, I'm thinking, Mother of God, it's like being up in the recycling centre. The place is upside down. I'm expecting a mouse to come out any minute. What in the name of God? And I've never seen as many microphone stands and things like that. Can you not tidy up the place?
That is tidy.
Look at that. Look at that. I said to him, you know, why didn't you face the camera that way? Because that's much nicer, that wall there.
Yeah.
He said, Mom, we couldn't do that. Sure, look at it. All I'd have to tidy up down here.
Yeah.
So he basically turned the wall this side where you'd see a bloody drum kit that he wouldn't have to move. But there's a much nicer wall that side. But anyway. Yeah, so that's...
I tried it that way.
Aren't you sorry now I hadn't another page of
I tried it that way, but it didn't work.
Ah, yeah.
What other things have I to say? If there's anybody that's like, I'm not a know-all or anything, like I'm not a musician, I haven't been on the scene for years, I'm still learning as I go along, but I think if you're starting out and stuff like this and you're like, oh, I don't know if it's for me, if it's not, if it is, whatever, just fucking do it. Just do it. Just start and go and just stick with it and stick with it and stick with it, and eventually it'll grow into something over time. Like Rome wasn't built in a day. And I know sometimes it can be hard because people are like, how are you making money on that? Or what sort of job are you going to get when you're finished doing that? Don't mind them. There's always going to be television stations. There's always going to be radio. There's always going to be YouTube. There's always going to be content that needs to be created. So yeah, don't let anybody stand in your way of doing any of that stuff either. You know, like it's great to have parents who are so supportive of you and friends and all that. So, but if there's haters...
That's another thing I was going to say at the start of this. It was going to be different from any of the other podcasts because there was going to be no bad language, but sorry, I forgot to announce that at the beginning, obviously.
Well, I think it helps make a point. Basically, if it's your dream to do stuff like this, then go and do it. And just because otherwise you won't get it. Like and it's only now. Like I've been at this since TY. It's only now things are starting to kind of go. Oh yeah. This crowd are doing such a thing, It's great. Anyway, what else have you got for me?
I don't think I have anything.
Any other stories or anything?
No. Today would have been the start of the Leaving Cert for Michaela. But
oh yeah, the Leaving Cert.
Yeah. So it's
controversial.
It's a different day in our house today. Yeah. Are we nearly finished our house?
I think so, yeah. There's nothing else you want to bring up?
Well, no, but just to say that Joe and myself are proud of you, and we're glad that you're doing what you're doing, and you're a good lad.
All right, debatable.
Hard enough to get you to cut the lawn at times, and hard enough to get you to do things, but it isn't really. And I do appreciate anything that you... one thing I would say, and that's to all those youngsters that you have interviewed and everything, please give back to charity. Do something for charity every now and again.
Yeah.
I think it's so important, and I know that firsthand because I'm treasurer of a local charity here in Tuam, and it's all those things. They mean so much.
Yeah.
When you give back to that,
and it'll benefit you in the future.
And
as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good things don't go unnoticed like that.
No. That is true. And I think it's let you never not do something. And even if you do come up with some kind of a good idea to fundraise or to to run a concert or something, and you feel we could do that and we might do it for a charity. There's loads of charities that would grab it with both hands.
The other side of that is as well, we'll say if you are always doing stuff for charity already, don't be afraid to go, okay, I'm not doing this, I want to do my own concert, you know what I mean, and do that as well, or do your own gig. Don't be feeling you always have to do stuff. I just noticed in the camera that the drum set is like its own character here in the shot because we left space for it.
But that's our social distancing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Unless you're the boss of this episode. So
No, no, I've nothing else to say really.
No?
That we are proud of you, and you're a good lad, and I hope everything goes well for you always, and I hope
so
you're
too.
happy and safe, and I hope Neve gets sense, and that she gets a nice boyfriend for herself or whatever.
If anybody doesn't know, Neve is my girlfriend. Neve is a legend.
And we love Neve.
Neve has been on the scene for 4 years now.
Poor Neve, poor long-suffering Neve.
She's a legend. Yeah, I think that's it. There's nothing else to come from me, really. I suppose.
So the future, yes, tell us about
Oh,
the
yeah,
future
well-
after college now. What do we do now? We have another 2 years in college.
Jeez, just when
There's
I thought it
another
was going
2
to be
years
over.
in college, yeah.
So 2 years of college. Third year is going to be interesting because I think the first half of the year is all going to be done online because of the COVID. And then fourth year will be FYP, which I started writing a book
What's
2 years ago.
FYP
Final
means?
year project.
Oh, sorry.
Started writing a book last year. Just got the idea one day. Again, silly idea. Started writing it. Didn't go back to it, but I think I'm just going to work on that and finish that. It's about the standard of modern sound in Ireland and around the globe, and is there anything we can do to improve it and things like that. But that's irrelevant. I don't need to worry about that for 2 years. It's grand. And then after college, the plan would be to get this place going properly as a proper business, I suppose, and get out there and start doing gigs and maybe tour with a band, hopefully at some point, and do sound for them and different things like that.
Another thing we didn't mention was Guilty Rhythm.
Guilty Rhythm.
Sorry, we're going back and over now.
Guilty Rhythm. Yeah, Guilty Rhythm is a band that is split up now, actually, unfortunately. But was going for a while. It was myself, Julie McHugh, Luke Cronin, and Stephen Leo. And we had great crack, a great band. We played loads of gigs around a few different places. And again, we were just... again, myself and Julie, we were playing with Owen Mullins originally at the start. And then we said, okay, Owen Mullins left eventually. And unfortunately, but to each their own. And to each their own.
Yeah, right.
But
that's nearly as bad now as, hey, Google, tell us a joke.
But so then Stephen Leo joined us. Stephen was on the music scene in Tuam years ago. And we always thought, Stephen maybe might have wanted to do some original stuff, so we didn't really ask him. And then Julie said it to me one day, and we asked Stephen, and Stephen was delighted to come on board. So then we're like, okay, we need a drummer. Luke was drumming with us when we were with Owen, so we said it to Luke, we're getting Stephen in and whatever, and Luke was delighted to keep going. And so we gigged and we did covers, and there's loads of covers up on Facebook and all that stuff. But yeah, Guilty Rhythm was great crack. I'm not sure what the future holds for Guilty Rhythm. There might be some things in the works, but I don't want to say anything in case it falls apart. But there may be a return. I'm not sure.
I'd love to see that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, we had great fun. We're going to be doing an episode together. On the next season, we're going to be doing an episode of the podcast together. But yeah, I'm not going to say anything else about it, just because I don't know what the future holds for Guilty Rhythm. So gonna continue.
Now, Coronation Street is coming on, so I'm going.
Fair enough.
Is that okay?
Yeah. So I suppose that's it, really. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, dear. Can you not give me a hug?
No.
I think I knocked my microphone.
No, you're fine. So that's it, really.
And the next time I say anything like this, just ignore it, won't you?
Yeah, definitely. It was a terrible idea. Mm-hmm. But thank you all for season 1, I suppose, and for watching season 1 and for getting involved in season 1. It was great. I can't believe the reaction from it. It just kind of took off like madness. So it's been great. Season 2 is starting next week. Season 2 is going to be huge. It's going to be like a television show. It's going to be like RTE in here. It's going to be madness. There's going to be cameras and microphones and musicians, and it's going to be mental. But you'll have seen that on the live on yesterday, because this is out on a Friday. Anyway, I'll talk to you next week. Good luck.